Hello and welcome to How to Play Bezique, presented by GatherTogetherGames.com. There are different variations to the card game Bezique. This video will show you how to play with two players. The video will start with the general concepts and gameplay, and then get into more of the details for the game. To play Bezique, you will need two decks of cards using only the aces down to the sevens for a total of 64 cards. Each player is dealt 8 cards in sets of 3 cards, then 2 cards, then 3 cards. The top card of the remaining deck is flipped up and partially put underneath the deck. The suit of this flipped up card will be the trump suit for the round. The object of the game is to score points through melds and winning tricks that include aces or tens. A trick is created by each player playing a card into the middle. The player with the highest ranking trump card will win the trick. If no trump card was played, the winner of the trick is the player with the higher ranking card in the lead suit. The cards are ranked with aces being the highest, then the tens, then the kings down to the sevens. Going back to the hand that was dealt earlier, I have flipped up each player's cards for you to see. In an actual game, you will keep your cards hidden from the other player. The round begins with the non-dealer playing the first card. Player 2 plays the 8 of diamonds. Player 1 will then play any card from his hand. Player 1 will play the 8 of hearts. Player 2 wins this trick with the highest ranking card in the lead suit. After a trick is won, the winning player is able to lay down a meld if he has one. A meld can be any of the following: a sequence of ace, king, queen, jack, 10 in the trump suit, a marriage of king and queen in the same suit, 4 aces, 4 kings, 4 queens, or 4 jacks in any suit, a bezique, which is the queen of spades and the jack of diamonds, or a double bezique, which is both queen of spades and jack of diamonds. Player 2 will meld a trump marriage. A meld is laid down, but throughout the round the player can play a card from his meld as if it was in his hand. After a meld is played, the winner of the last trick will draw the top card of the deck, and the loser of the last trick will draw the next card to return their hands to 8 cards. Then the player that won the last trick leads the next trick. Player 2 leads the next trick with the 8 of diamonds, and player 1 plays the 9 of diamonds. Player 1 wins this trick. If a player holds a 7 of trump, he can swap it with the flipped up trump card after winning a trick. Player 1 will swap his 7 of clubs with the flipped up jack of clubs. Player 1 will draw the top card from the deck, and player 2 will draw the next card. Player 1 leads the next trick with the 8 of hearts, and player 2 plays the 10 of hearts. Player 2 wins this trick with the higher ranking card. Anytime a trick contains an ace or a 10, the winning player will receive points for each. I will cover all the points in the next section of the video. Player 2 won the trick and has the opportunity to lay down a meld, but does not have a valid meld at this time. He will just draw the top card of the deck, and player 1 will draw the next card. Skipping ahead to the end of the deck, player 2 leads the 9 of hearts, and player 1 plays the 8 of spades. Player 2 wins this trick and draws the top card of the remaining deck. Player 1 gets the flipped up trump card. The rest of the round is played for tricks now that the deck is exhausted. Player 2 has a marriage meld from the last card drawn, but will not score for it as the remainder of the round is just for taking tricks. Players will return any remaining meld cards to their hands. New rules come into effect on the last 8 tricks played. First, a player is required to play a card in the same suit that was led if possible, and second, a player is required to win the trick if possible. When player 2 leads the ace of spades, player 1 does not have a spade to follow suit. Player 1 has to play a trump-suited card to win the trick. When a player does not have a card in the lead suit or a trump card, the player can play any card. The player that wins the last trick is awarded 10 points. Melding points are scored as they are won during the round. The points for different melds can be found on the quick guide, which is linked to in the description of this video. Player 2 would score 40 points when he laid down the trump marriage. Playing the 7 of trump is worth 10 points and is awarded when the player switches it with the flipped up trump card, when it is melded, or when it is played into the middle. Player 1 gets 10 points for the switch. Melded points continue being added as awarded throughout the round. At the end of the round, players will count the aces and tens from their tricks won. Each ace or 10 won in a trick is worth 10 points, and winning the very last trick is worth 10 points. Player 1 got a total of 9 aces and tens, plus won the last trick for a total of 100 points. Player 2 got a total of 7 aces and tens for a total of 70 points. At the end of round 1, player 2 leads 250 to 240. The game is played to an agreed upon amount, such as 1,000. If the same card is played by both players, the first one played wins the trick. A card can be used in multiple melds, but not twice for the same type of meld. Player 1 lays down a meld of 4 jacks and already has a marriage meld laid down. The queen of spades from the marriage and the jack of diamonds from the 4 jacks create a bezique. A player can only score 1 meld per turn, so player 1 can take the points for the 4 jacks now, and then after he wins his next trick, he can score the points for the bezique. A player is not able to play a sequence and then later take the points for the trump marriage contained within the sequence. But a player could play a trump marriage and later add the cards to make it a sequence in order to score for the marriage and then later the sequence. If the dealer flips up a 7 from the deck when dealing, he is awarded 10 points. That wraps up how to play bezique. As with most games, you will get better with practice, so don't be discouraged if it takes you a few games to catch on. Thanks for watching.